When you're just starting out with HubSpot, it is really important that you integrate HubSpot with your website. This is something I recommend to anyone starting with HubSpot. You can get a lot of features and insights this way, even on the free version of HubSpot. But I would always recommend to go at least for the starter customer platform, since the fee is pretty low and it takes away a lot of the limitations within HubSpot, as well as any HubSpot branding on things that you implement on your website, like forms and the chat that we'll talk about later. So first of all, before I start sharing my screen, the main thing that makes it really interesting to integrate HubSpot with your website is that you get end-to-end tracking for your marketing efforts and sales efforts. Let me explain. So whenever somebody visits your website, that's the moment that HubSpot will also start tracking them. Then as soon as they fill out a form, that data get actually linked to their name within HubSpot in their contact profile. And you'll be able to see where they came from, what pages they looked at on your website, what form they eventually submitted. And then from there, at a certain point, this contact will be handed off to sales. They will start a deal, and hopefully that deal will become a closed won deal. It will have generated revenue for your business. It will hopefully generate recurring revenue over time. And all of this can be tracked back to this very first step. So let's say someone watches a video on your company's YouTube channel, and within the description of that video, there was a call to action to your website, and there they filled out that form. Well, that revenue in the end is something you can track back all the way to that first video. And this is a great way to gauge how your marketing efforts are doing and also where you should invest more. So let me share my screen and then I'll show you a couple of things here. So there's a couple of key features that get unlocked when you integrate HubSpot with your website. So one of the first things that we can do here is we can create lists, and I do have to mention that this specific feature is one for Marketing Professional. For most established businesses, Marketing Professional makes perfect sense, but I do have to mention that this specific feature is Marketing Professional. You can create a list, and let's say we're gonna do a contact list. And then within filters here, we see that we can look at page views. So this way we can create a list of everyone who looked at a certain page on your website. So for example, we can say contact has viewed at least one URL containing, let's say, pricing. So this list right here will not really give any results because it is a demo account, but this list would give us all the contacts that looked at the pricing page on our website. And the list is just the start there. Like, you can even say that when a contact has already been assigned to a salesperson, so it has a contact owner, you can say that the moment a contact looks at the pricing page, that contact owner, that salesperson, needs to get a notification on their phone that that person just looked at the pricing page in real time, which might be a great trigger for that salesperson to reach out and either continue the conversation or restart the conversation if it was a long lost lead. So that's one way we can use this. Another way we can use it, and I'll go not too deep into this, is with lead scoring. I'll link the video up here that I did recently on lead scoring, so you can learn more there. But if we go to lead engagement scoring, and we go to the score, like here you can see we use when people visit certain pages on our website as part of our lead scoring model as well, which is also a great way to do lead scoring. And then last but not least, it will also show you exactly where your leads came from. Let me go to an example lead here. So here when we are on the contact profile, first of all, here at the bottom, we can see how a contact was created. So in this case, this contact was created from organic social from YouTube. So we know that this contact came from YouTube. Then we can also see the first form submission on the website and on which page that form submission was. So you can use your form on multiple pages and you will still be able to see on which page that they submitted that form. We can see all of the different pages that this person looked at. So if I click this open, you can see all of the different pages that he visited here. And then on the left side here, you can see that I set up a view with some properties specifically for conversion details, where we can see more information about the conversion itself, specific challenges that this person had, then also when you want to get started, what the budget is, and then here at the bottom we can find even more details. I always like to ask people still, like, how did they hear about me? I know that we already have this information right here, but sometimes they might give more information there, or you might see something different, like here it shows up that they came through organic social, or they came in through organic search. But then when you ask here, how did you hear about me? They might say, you were referred by a friend. And that's great information to have. And also when I get that information and I get a specific name, I usually put that in here as well, so that I actually know who referred them. Then here we can see the first conversion. So this shows us the page that the conversion was on and also the form. Then the first conversion date, the original source, so that would be organic social. The drill down 1 gives us a little bit more detail, so this came from YouTube. And then drill down 2 gives us even more detail, so I know that he came in from a HubSpot for real estate video on our YouTube channel. And that's great information to have. Now, next to the important part, how do you actually set up your HubSpot tracking code? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's go back here and we'll go to our settings. Then when we're here on HubSpot, we go to tracking and analytics in our sidebar. And then we click on the tracking code. And here we will get our tracking code. You can choose to either copy this and then add it to your website yourself. So as it says here, just before the closing body tag, if you're a little bit technical with your website or have some technical knowledge about your website, this is something that's very easy to do. Or if you have a web developer that you're working with, you just click email to my web developer here. They will ask you for the email address and they send them all the information that they need to implement that tracking code. It's as easy as that. Another thing that you could do is, if your website is built with WordPress, you can just go to the WordPress plugin directory, and there's a HubSpot plugin there, and that plugin will also integrate the tracking code for you as well, with some additional information in the backend, as you can see right here. And then last but not least, if you're working with HubSpot's own CMS, you don't need to do anything. It works out of the box. So next, let me show you a couple of things that you can do once the tracking code is added to your website. And before we get there, make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and you'll be always informed about more HubSpot excellence. So when we go back here, let's go to marketing in the sidebar and then forms. And I show you exactly how you can create a simple form within HubSpot. So we just click on create form here. We choose the new form editor and then we choose create from scratch. Now here we can see the form editor and we get a basic form here, and this is exactly how it will show up on the website once it has been implemented. I usually try to keep my forms very simple because I like to do the design of the website on the website itself. So we're gonna get rid of some of the details here, like I don't really need that image. I also don't really want a progress bar in this case. For the style, I don't want any layouts either. And then we're also gonna get rid of that second step. As I said, I wanna keep it really simple. So even that text here, I would say if you are working with a developer and it's difficult for you to make changes on the website and you feel that you would want to change the text right above the form, like you would like to change that frequently, I would keep it here. In my case, I like to do these things on the website itself, so I'm also going to remove that part. And then we get to just a basic form here. Now, as you can see here, we have like first name, last name, and email. And let's add one more here. So in this first step, I also want to give them the option to add a message. So we're going to click on add here. Then we're going to go to properties, and then we're going to use message. And then it's as easy as drag and drop. So we just take the message, we put that right here, and there we go. Now we can also choose if this is a required field, like this. And let's say we want the first name and last name to be required as well. Also for the label, I usually like to say work email, so that we're sure that we're getting the work email. And also a couple of best practices here. For example, I see some forms asking for the company name. They're asking for a phone number. They're asking for the job that that person does. I personally feel that this is a lot of information that we can already find if we just have their work email. Like thinking about it, their work email shows us where they work, because we do have the domain, and HubSpot will actually also automatically create that company for you whenever somebody submits a form. So it makes it really easy. So I feel that I always want to keep a form as short as possible, just the necessary information we need. And after that, you just have to open LinkedIn and you would get most of the information that you would need anyway. Really good LinkedIn integration, by the way, is HubLead. I have a video about that as well. We'll link it right up here. Give it a look. I think you would love it. As you can see here, there's a bunch of options. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. So you can have a placeholder text. You can also block email, like free email providers. So if you don't want anyone to be using a Gmail account, a Hotmail account, an Outlook account, you can just block that right here. Or you can also block domains by just typing them in here and choose certain domains that are not allowed to submit this form. Then for the submit button, we can also do some styling there as well. So if you look at styling, then we have the buttons, then we have the button color here. So now we can see it's green. If we say like we want the button to be orange, like you can easily change this. Usually you set up the brand settings for your HubSpot account once and you will just use those settings going forward. But just let's say that we want to keep this as like a nice blue button. There we go. Then we have the confirmation message that will show after the form is submitted. You can add an image there if you would like. You can customize the text that will show here. And then if we do review and update, we have the options on how we want to implement this form on our website. Usually I like to use the embed code, and then I just add this code on the website, and this is exactly where the form will live. You will have the ability to set up how the form will look on your website, or at least like how it's placed on the website. And then if you want to make any changes afterwards, you can actually just change these in HubSpot, and then you can publish those changes right to that form without needing to go back to that code. So that makes it really easy as well. So now we can just publish this and we're all set. Next, I also want to show you a little bit about the kind of data you will get once you have HubSpot integrated on your website and you start working with it, and you actually also start using the deals feature within HubSpot. So let's go do an example dashboard here. And here you can see the kind of data, and this is data that you would get even with a free account. So I specifically chose a report here that's not limited to Marketing Professional. If you have a Marketing Professional account, you will be able to do custom reporting, and there's a lot of detail you can get there. Like, to give you an idea with custom reporting, you can get data on the performance of specific Google search ad campaigns, to name one example. So you can see exactly the amount of leads that came from each campaign. You can even go as far as seeing which leads came specifically from which keyword in which campaign. So you can go down to like a keyword level. So when you click on a certain statistic within a report, you will be able to see the data that makes up that statistic. So if we click on this 8 here, you will see exactly where those customers came from, like which channels that they came from. And you can go even one step further and say like, I want to see these 3 customers that came through paid search, or I want to see these 20 contacts that came through paid search. You can just click that number and you will get a lot more details about who these people are. So you actually know the specific people that came into your account through a specific campaign, or as I said, as detailed as a specific keyword. This is incredibly valuable information. And as I said, this is something that works even if you're using the free version of HubSpot or the starter version of HubSpot. This works out of the box, this specific graph, I mean. If you want to look at something like, I want to see it specifically for a certain Google search ad campaigns or a certain keyword, that is marketing professional. And then of course, there are multiple reports that you can use, and you can create your own custom dashboard based on those reports, but that will be for another video. Now, to close this off, I want to show you a couple more things that you can do by using the HubSpot tracking code on your website. No additional setup needed. And let's just talk about two options here. So one thing that you can do is you can use the chat feature. So you can implement a chat on your website, and those chat messages will just come in here. As you can see, this is a quick example here. This is through the live chat of on the website. That live chat works through that same tracking code. No additional setup needed. You can just set it up within HubSpot. I do have a video on that as well. I'll link it right up here. It's as easy as that, and you get a great customer experience add-on for your website. I love it. And then last but not least, and that's where we're gonna wrap up the video, you can also use it to add CTAs to the website. So we have one example here with a slide-in CTA, but I'll quickly show you the different options. So if we just look at the blank CTAs here, you can use this to add pop-ups to your website. You can use this to add slide-ins to the website, my personal favorite. And you can also use this to add an announcement banner at the top of your website, something you see quite often. If you like this video, I'm sure you will love this video right up here about how to set up your sales pipeline, because once you've set up your tracking code, I'm sure you want to make sure that your sales pipeline is within HubSpot as well, so you get that data end to end, which makes it incredibly valuable. And until the next video for more HubSpot excellence. Bye.